to resume. So they posted me to another office. So while I was to go to the office where I was posted to, I went to the office to collect my posting letter, and they said there was no posting letter. They were looking for my posting letter. For the space for 4 months, they did not see my letter. After they got the letter, I went back to the office where they posted me to resume. And my controller, she said there was no space for me. She rejected me. So I was just floating. There was no office. I was just moving from one office to another. And I was praying. Then I used to follow NSPPD. So I was praying, and Papa keep on declaring that what God has given to you, you will not lose it. Right. They will say yes, and I believe it. At that period, it's like Papa was saying it almost every day, and I believed the word. And to the glory of God, I went back, and I was hearing strange voice that you will lose the job. And Papa keep on saying, what God has given to you, you will not lose it. They will say yes. To the glory of God, last month, the controller that rejected me accepted me back. I see that was not enough. He accepted me on Thursday. The following week on Monday, and I was promoted. I want to thank God, the God of NSPPD. Praise the Lord. Indeed, what God cannot do does not else.
Compensation with restoration. She was not walking up. She has been floating. But when they restored her, they promoted her. Is someone celebrating God? Give the Lord a big shout.
Good morning, church. My name is Aisha Ochoa, and I want to testify to the glory of God. So my first testimony is this. In 2021, in October, Pastor Jerry made a declaration on NSPPD. He said, there is someone here, that there's something going on in your house that will take the life of people, that he reverses it. So I went to work the next day, and one of my staff came to me and said, she's just led in the spirit that she thinks we should pray. So we secluded ourselves and held hands and started to pray. And the atmosphere changed. Something happened. I don't know what came over me. And I started to say, let that ambulance go back. And we canceled it. I said 3 dead bodies, that I rebuke it. I don't want them. And I said, why is there so much blood here? Let them dry up. Let them be cleaned by fire. And we prayed. So on Monday, this prayer happened on Saturday. So on Monday, you know, the NSPPD anthem starts by 6:45 a.m. So every morning when it starts, I go to my daughter's room. She was 2 years old at the time. I go to her room and I march around, pray for 15 minutes before I take my position for the prayer. So her school bus comes to pick her up by between 6:50 and latest 7:10 in the morning. And at that time, she would have been downstairs having a breakfast, waiting for the bus to come get her. But to my surprise, I went to her room and I saw my nanny and my daughter dead asleep. I was furious, of course, because I was wondering what kind of sleep would make them still be asleep till that time. So even while I was trying to wake my nanny and talk to her, she was still sleepy. She was using me to sleep, and that got me even more angry. And while I was shouting, my daughter, who is a light sleeper, was still asleep. So while we were still contemplating and doing the whole of that, we heard a very loud noise come from a part of the house, and everybody rushed downstairs, only to discover that the whole POP in the kitchen had come down. Wow. Now, my chef at the time was deaf, totally deaf, couldn't pick a sound. He has never heard my voice before. We only communicated with him via text messages and, writing on paper. So we asked him what happened, and he wrote to us and said he heard a crack. He was cooking, and he heard a crack. We said, you heard a crack? He said, yes. Then immediately he heard the crack, he moved to the door. Now, when you hear a crack, even if you can hear, when you hear a crack, your next reaction is not to run to the door. But he said he did not know when he got to the door, that immediately he got to the door, the whole thing came out. Wow. Now, this thing dropped and sliced the kitchen island where he was standing. Now, see what God did. God showed me those dead bodies, the ambulance and all of that, just to show me what he was trying to avert. Now, my daughter, on a normal day, at that time, would have been having breakfast with my nanny. My nanny would have been feeding her. So the 3 dead bodies I saw were my chef, my nanny, and my daughter. Wow. But God caused them to sleep. See, when I was talking to my nanny, she was using me to sleep. I was angry. I didn't know that it was sleep of the Holy Ghost. Now, there was a lot of commotion in the house. We're trying to clear the kitchen so something else doesn't happen. And I told her, okay, we have missed the bus, obviously, that she should just get her ready. The driver will drop her. So while we were doing all of that, she was getting ready. Only for at about past 8, the school bus came. So I was about to apologize to the driver for the delay, thinking he had come before, only for him to say, madam, no vessel. I said, and what happened? He said as he was coming on Orchid Road, I came from Lagos, as he was coming on Orchid Road, that the bus just stopped all of a sudden. Wow. I said, it stopped. He said, yes, that it was still early, so he couldn't reach the school mechanic, and he couldn't find any mechanic around. And I asked him, so how did you, I was understanding what was going on. I asked him, so how did you resolve it? He said he tried it a few minutes ago, and the bus came on. So my daughter still joined the bus. So my second testimony. Last year, I am a jeweler and I also do wholesale. So I set up 2 stores in the space of 3 months. That was my plan for 2022. I wanted to expand. I didn't know that I was setting myself up for serious problems. So immediately after that, and I threw a party, immediately after that, I started to experience different attacks that I could not explain. Now, there was one night, I had a dream that I was selling jewelry to people. People gathered, a lot of them, I was selling to them. And one woman came, I know the woman, she came, she stood and was watching me. So after those people left, I now turned to her and said, she said she wanted to buy. And I said, I have only these 2 pairs of earrings. The floor was tiled and there was a bench there. And I thought, okay, let me go and get more. So I dropped the 2 pairs of earrings and went to get more. When I came back, the floor had turned to sand. Fire. And she had scattered the jewelry on the floor. So she stood like this and said, yeah, now look for them. Let me see how you start. You're showing yourself. So I woke up. When I woke up, I checked the time. It was past 2. I started to play NSPPD. And I started to hear drums. I was hearing local drums in my ear. I was trying to escape from the drums, but I couldn't. I was hearing drums, and I started to perceive a strange odor. And, my body scattered. I didn't understand myself. Even the next morning, I used to be obsessed with my page because I was trying to grow the page and I had a target. We were about 80.5 thousand followers and I wanted to, business was going well. So, but that morning I didn't check the page. I was not comfortable. Only for my manager to tell me that Instagram had disabled the page. Just that morning, I woke up from that dream. So I understood what was going on. So, and anytime I want to secure a deal, a client wants to buy luxury jewelry or I want to do something, I will start to hear drums and my body will scatter. The drums will be in my ear. I'll be trying to run away from and I'll be walking on the road like a crazy person and I will fall sick I moved out of my matrimonial home because the smell was in my house. There was a day I entered my home. The smell was strong. I started to have headache. I put my feet in the compound. There was headache. I stepped out. There was no headache. I entered again. There was headache. I stepped out. I just went to sit by 1 sock away. And then I went to rent another house. I moved out of the house with my children. Finances draining. I spent money to set up. Families met. I told them I was hearing drums. They said I should give myself peace, that I'm hallucinating. So I came back to the house. After 2 months, it started again. I moved to Ghana. Went to rent another house in Ghana, changed my children's school. I thought it was about Nigeria, but it did not stop. After that, I moved back to Nigeria again. Wow. I was going from place to place, only for me to come on the altar of fire, and Pastor Jerry said, I don't know who you are. You are hearing native drums. You are hearing local drums. Whenever it starts.
What kind of demonic atmosphere are they projecting towards you? Malaba, Gaza, you will hear some drums. You will hear some drums. Some native drums. Some native drums. Abalababasha, Arakata. And after that, you will perceive a phrase, a very strange perfume. Strange perfume. Abalasea. And once that happens, it's either you fall sick or whatever you put your hands in, none of them will work. Your body scatters. You lose concentration. It usually used to happen when something good is about to come your way. You start hearing strange drums, native drums playing in your ear. After that, you will start perceiving some strange perfume. I don't know who you are, but God has found you. God has found you. God has found you. If you are the one, put it on the live stream. Say, I am the one. Put it on the live stream. Say, I am the one. Whatever it is, by the power that raised Jesus from from the dead. I command, let it be broken. 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 Right now. 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 Let your amen thunder.
People of God, I tell you, that very day, immediately after the prayer, that woman started to call me. She called me every day, like 10 times in a day for a space of 2 weeks. I didn't pick her call. I knew fire was burning her. And that was the last time that thing happened to me. It didn't happen again. So, my third testimony is about total restoration. So, you know, I told you how I was moving from place to place and different things were coming up and I was spending money, so finances started to drain. So I still had some money with me, and I knew what was going on. I knew I was under attack. And one day, Pastor Jerry said, I see you, the Lord has seen you, I see you, that there's something going on with you, you are under attack. He said the last 2 years, you know I told you this started last year, the last 2 years have been very horrible, but specifically the last 3 months, which was very accurate. Now, see what happened. I still had some money, but I had to invest because I didn't want everything to just disappear. So I bought some plots of land in different places, Lagos and Abuja. So after hoping, because at the time, money was still coming in, but not like before, but money was still coming in. But after I did this investment, money stopped coming in. My workers were worried. I will sponsor adverts, nothing will come. So that was when Pastor Jerry made this declaration that the past 3 months have been horrible. I moved back to Nigeria. I started playing NSPPD mornings and nights in both stores. Any customer that comes will watch Pastor Jerry on the TV. So I was praying, and then I came on the altar one Sunday, and I was like, God, I'm tired. You said you won't give us what we don't have capacity for, and I'm done with this. I can't do it anymore. And immediately, when I was saying it, Pastor Jerry just said, he said, I see you specifically, your jewelry business that the enemy locked and put a siege on. He said, right now, let it be reversed. I jumped. I said, amen. See, from the next day, everything started to peak. Customers were coming. So now it was moving, but I needed